These 10 countries fear Filipino success, but they'll never admit it. Because the truth? It threatens everything. Filipinos are rising, dominating tech, healing the world in hospitals, lighting up global stages, building billion-dollar dreams. But instead of applause, the world is holding its breath. Watching. Whispering. Wishing it would stop. Why is Filipino brilliance suddenly seen as a threat? Why are nations that once cheered, now quietly praying you fall? If you're Filipino, you need to see this before they bury it. Number 1. South Korea, the pop culture powerhouse under pressure. You ever notice how the world loves Filipino talent? Right up until it starts winning? Yeah. Suddenly, all that applause gets a little quieter. Now picture this: Mia, 22, born in Cebu, grew up dancing barefoot on concrete, uploads TikToks from a leaky rooftop, and somehow ends up in Seoul. She's grinding harder than your overpriced espresso beans, finally gets into a K-pop dance crew, and bam, starts outshining everyone on stage. But instead of getting flowers, she gets side eyes. Because apparently, too talented is a problem when it comes with a Filipino passport. Let's not pretend we didn't see it coming. K-pop has always had rules. Shiny, polished, unspoken rules. One of them? If you're not Korean, you better not be better. But here comes Mia, and suddenly the vibe changes. Now it's not admiration. It's discomfort. The whispers start. Who let the outsider steal the spotlight? And Mia's not even the tip of the iceberg, she's just the Instagram filter. Behind her, there's a flood. Hori 7 on dropped into the K-pop scene like a Molotov cocktail made of rhythm and rebellion. 7 all Filipino boys, crashing a genre that's long guarded its borders like a high school clique. Then you've got Krisha Chu, remember her? Filipino-American, soloist, stood toe-to-toe with Korea's finest. Cracked the mold wide open. And what did she get? Respect, sure, but also resistance. Because here's the truth. It's not about talent. It's about turf. The K-pop industry isn't just entertainment, it's cultural currency. And when Filipino artists start spending it too, some folks start sweating. Not because Filipinos don't belong, but because we're not waiting for permission anymore. The industry's built on perfection, precision, control. But Filipino creativity? It's messy, passionate, raw, like karaoke at 2 a.m. after heartbreak and cheap beer. And guess what? That chaos sells. Still, for every cheer, there's an undertone of fear. Because deep down, they know, Filipinos don't just participate. They transform. So here's the million-peso question. Is the K-pop world ready for a Filipino wave? Or are they just hoping it fizzles out quietly? Because the numbers say otherwise. Millions of views. Global fan bases. Sold-out shows. And if this is what Filipinos can do when they're just getting started, imagine what happens when they stop playing nice. Sound off in the comments. Should K-pop stay pure? Or is it finally time to let the genre grow up? And hit that like if you've ever felt underestimated, then proved everyone dead wrong. Number 2. Vietnam, the race for Southeast Asia's crown. Let's talk about the rivalry nobody admits exists. You know the one. It's quiet, polite, passive-aggressive. Like when someone compliments your outfit, but their tone says, enjoy it while it lasts. That's Vietnam versus the Philippines. Not a war. Not a bromance. Just two neighbors side-eyeing each other in the group chat of Southeast Asia. Vietnam's the poster child for industrial glow-ups, factories, exports, investor candy. They've been called the next China, so many times it's practically printed on their passport. 8% GDP growth in 2022? Solid. Respect. But here's where it stings. While they were busy building machines, we were building influence. Filipinos didn't just show up in the digital world, we colonized it. Not with armies, but with accents that clients understand, creativity that converts, and tech talent raised on bootstraps and YouTube tutorials. Take Lester, 26, Iloilo. Pandemic hit, he taught himself back-end dev on YouTube, snagged an Aussie fintech contract off Upwork, and now earns 5 times what his Vietnamese counterparts do. That story? Viral. Proud Pinoys lit up the comments. Meanwhile, some Vietnamese pros smiled. Others? Gritted their teeth. Because deep down, every Filipino win in tech, in design, in storytelling, feels like a threat to someone in Hanoi wondering, wait, when did they pull ahead? See, Vietnam's lane was clear: build, ship, grow. But then we showed up, not with factories, but with followers. Not with goods, but with Google Docs, Figma files, AI prompts, and Zoom-ready charisma. And now? The overlap's getting uncomfortable. Same freelance gigs. Same startup funding. Same TikTok influencers. Different vibe. Because global clients are starting to say, let's go with the Filipinos, they just get it. Ouch. We're not trying to outshine Vietnam. We're just shining. And when you start doing well, people don't clap, they compete. That's the unspoken truth no one's putting in a TED Talk. Success makes people weird. Especially when they thought you were supposed to stay behind. Now here's what I want to know. Ever worked with a Vietnamese client or colleague? Did you feel it, that subtle let's see who's better energy? Was it chill? Was it cutthroat? Drop your story in the comments. No filters. And if you're proud of the way Filipino talent is flipping the script globally, tap that like button. Let's remind the algorithm that we're not just showing up. We're showing out. Number 3. Japan, the rival who never fully apologized. Let's talk about the elephant in the tatami room. You ever walk into a room where everyone's smiling, but your gut tells you they're secretly hoping you trip on the rug? Yeah, welcome to Japan, if you're a successful Filipino. Now don't get it twisted, we respect Japan. The discipline, the design, the trains that run like clockwork and shame your entire life schedule. But beneath that calm, Zen garden surface, there's a tension nobody's naming out loud. So let's name it. Japan loves order. But Filipino success? That's chaos wrapped in charm and hustle, and they don't know what to do with it. Take Maria, 29, Cebuana, startup founder. She moves to Tokyo with a vision to build a tech app for elderly care, you know, the kind of solution Japan desperately needs. She gets polite bows. Careful applause. But behind those Kyoto smiles? Doubt. Whispered questions. Is she really qualified? Shouldn't this come from us? Let's pause here. Japan just inked $100 billion in deals with the Philippines. Energy. Infrastructure. Digital innovation. They're betting on us hard, on paper. But socially, we're still the help. Nurses, entertainers, trainees. Functional. Quiet. Non-threatening. The minute we step out of that mold, the vibe shifts. You feel it in meetings. You pitch your idea, they nod, but offer to introduce you to a local partner to legitimize it. You present your credentials, they scan your age, accent, and last name like it's a security checkpoint. And we haven't even touched history. The Manila Massacre. 1945. Over 100,000 Filipinos, gone. Brutally. And Japan? Their apology has always felt more like a corporate press release than remorse. We regret the inconvenience. Sorry, was that a war crime or a flight delay? Here's the uncomfortable truth. You can't build real partnerships on top of unspoken grief. You can't hand out scholarships and skyscrapers and expect people to forget the ghosts. It's like giving someone a Rolex after punching their grandmother. Generous? Sure. Healing? Not quite. And yet, Filipinos keep rising. We lead in healthcare. We're entering their tech spaces. We're making anime YouTubers jealous with our storytelling. So here's the question you weren't supposed to ask. Is Japan ready to embrace a Filipino success story that doesn't stay politely in the background? Or does it only work when we stay quiet, grateful, and 2 steps behind? Tell me, have you felt this tension with Japanese colleagues? Was it support, or silent sabotage? Drop your thoughts below. And if you're tired of pretending everything's okay when it's clearly not, hit that like button. Up next, we're heading to the Middle East, where Filipino ambition is worshipped, until it starts asking for equal treatment. Buckle up. It's about to get uncomfortable. Number 4. Taiwan, the shadowed competitor. Let's cut the small talk. You ever notice how some countries love you, as long as you don't outshine them? That's Taiwan. Nice on paper. Smiles in person. But the second you start climbing higher than expected, you'll feel the air thin, fast. Here's the setup they don't want to admit. Taiwan likes being the quiet genius of Asia, the chip whisperer, the underdog that made it out of China's shadow. Cool story. But now there's a new shadow creeping in. And guess what? It's Filipino. Let me hit you with a name, Armin. 29. From Laguna. 0 connections. 0 Ivy League. Just one of us, built with calluses and caffeine. He lands a job in Taiwan's semiconductor scene, one of the most cutthroat industries on the planet. Starts at the bottom. Sweatshop hours. Micromanaged to death. Within a year, he's training locals. By year 2, he's promoted. Leading a team. A Filipino running a Taiwanese floor. You'd think it'd be a win for diversity, right? Wrong. That's when the smiles turn stiff. The good mornings get shorter. And suddenly, lunch invites vanish like unpaid internships. Because Taiwan didn't plan on the help becoming the competition. Filipinos were supposed to be support roles, never stars. They didn't think we'd come for the lead. But we are. Not just in semiconductors, but agritech, AI, fintech. We're not just showing up, we're showing proof. And here's the part that stings for them: the West is watching. Investors are side-eyeing Manila, thinking, wait, cheaper labor, fluent in English, democratic, culturally Western. Is this the new Taiwan? Meanwhile, Taiwan's sweating in silence. Because for decades, they only had to look over their shoulder for China. Now, they're flinching at the sound of a Visayan accent in the break room. This isn't a war. It's not even a rivalry. It's an identity crisis, and we triggered it. Because Filipinos aren't waiting to be chosen anymore. We are building, innovating, disrupting, and doing it loud. Now here's your gut punch. Respect doesn't come from playing nice. It comes from being undeniable. So ask yourself, are you waiting for permission to succeed in someone else's spotlight? Or are you ready to blind them with your own? Comment below if you've ever felt that shift, when your success made people weird. And if you're tired of dimming your light just to fit in, smash that like button like it owes you rent. Because next time someone tries to keep us in the background, we're bringing the damn spotlight. Number 5. Kuwait, the land of limits. Let's be real for a second. Hong Kong looks like freedom. Flashy skyline, fast trains, money flowing like boba in Mongkok. But if you're Filipino, that skyline might as well be a glass ceiling, clear, shiny, and built to keep you looking up, not climbing through. You ever notice how the people who smile the most often say the least? That's Hong Kong in a nutshell, polite to a fault. Except that fault? It's a crack wide enough to swallow your ambition whole. Let me paint a picture. Roselle, 35, domestic worker from Cavite. She's sharp, fluent in English and Cantonese, and low-key manages her employer's entire household like a corporate COO. Budgeting, scheduling, kids' education. And guess what? On Sundays, she's not resting. She's running a side hustle teaching Tagalog to expat kids in Central. Quiet grind, massive heart. But then, she applies for a business license. Wants to make it legit. That's when it hits her. Your value ends where their comfort begins. Authorities start sniffing. Where's your permit? You're not allowed to freelance. And just like that, her ambition becomes a threat. Not to safety, not to law, but to the unspoken hierarchy no one talks about, and everyone enforces. Here's the slap you sober stat. Over 210,000 Filipinos live in Hong Kong. Majority are domestic workers. Essential, reliable, but rarely respected. It's like being the spine of the household, strong, invisible, and only noticed when something breaks. Now let's twist that knife. If you're excellent, you'll get praise. But try to rise, and suddenly, the rules change. They love your service, not your success. And while people whisper about human rights and labor laws, let's not pretend. We know what this is. This is a thank you, stay in your place kind of city. A polite cage dressed up as opportunity. But here's what no one expected. Filipinos didn't come just to serve. We came to survive, to build, to level up. And we're doing it, through online businesses, education, and even digital currency remittance hubs run by UFWs. Yeah, they told us to stay quiet, and we built an empire while they weren't looking. So let me ask you, ever felt like the system smiled at you just long enough to keep you docile? Comment below if you've ever been in a place where success made people uncomfortable. Let's crack this conversation wide open. And if you've ever been told you should be grateful while doing twice the work for half the pay, hit that like button. Because next, we're landing in a country where success can cost you your soul. Welcome to the UAE, and things are about to get loud. Number 6. United Arab Emirates. Luxury meets unequal labor. Let's be honest, Dubai looks like a billionaire's daydream. Towering skylines, air-conditioned bus stops, gold-dispensing ATMs. It's like if Las Vegas married Silicon Valley and raised their kid in a Louis Vuitton store. But look closer. Under all that gloss. A different kind of story. One that doesn't make it into influencer reels or Emirates commercials. You ever wonder how a country that sells the image of limitless luxury still somehow limits the very people building it? Meet Joselito, started as a dishwasher in Abu Dhabi back in 2005. Long shifts. Short sleep. Sharing a one-bedroom flat with more men than a boy band reunion tour. 8 noodles for breakfast, lunch, and trauma. But he made it. Fast forward 18 years, Joselito owns 2 car detailing shops. His clients? The kind of people who buy Bugattis like flip-flops. His employees? Mostly Filipino. His transformation? Heroic. Until it wasn't. Because the moment Joselito became the boss instead of the help, the air changed. People smiled less. Paperwork got delayed. Compliments turned into cold stares. Why? Because some folks can tolerate Filipino labor. But Filipino leadership? Now that's terrifying. See, the UAE loves its order. It runs on the kafala system, a polite way of saying, we'll let you work here, but we own your freedom. Your visa is chained to your boss. And if they get salty? Boom. You're jobless, homeless, and one missed document away from deportation. It's legal control disguised as opportunity. Still think it's just paranoia? The International Labor Organization says thousands of migrant workers, mostly from Asia, face withheld wages, confiscated passports, and zero protection when things go south. Translation: you're not a worker. You're a bet. And if you win too big, the house changes the rules. But here's the plot twist they didn't see coming. Filipinos are done playing small. We're running restaurants in Ras Al Khaimah, coding startups in Sharjah, selling cakes, creating content, managing digital ads, and doing it better than the system expected. That invisible ceiling? We're not just cracking it. We're climbing through with style. Let me ask you, have you felt it? That weird tension when your success starts to stretch the script they wrote for you? That moment when you stop being one of the good ones, and start being a threat? Share it in the comments. This isn't just a story, it's a silent revolution. And it's louder than ever. And if you believe a Filipino deserves respect with or without a title, smash that like button. Because next, we're heading to a place where smiles hide rivalries, and the competition is personal. Brace for Australia. You're not ready. Number 7, Australia. Let's not pretend. Australia looks like a welcoming place. Sunny beaches. Koalas. Tim Tams. Politicians shaking hands with every ethnicity like it's a UN buffet. But behind the weather report and mate, greetings? There's a vibe, and if you're Filipino, you felt it. It's that silent thanks for helping. Just don't get too comfortable. Here's the sting. Filipinos are out here crushing it. Owning homes, leading hospital departments, topping class rankings. Sounds like the immigrant success story, right? Well, not to everyone. Take Clarissa. Davo-born, Melbourne-based, and everything they claim to celebrate. She worked nights, studied days, sent money home, and somehow bought not one, but 2 homes in 10 years. Sounds like hustle. Sounds like the dream. Until a colleague whispers over lunch, these immigrants are buying up all the homes. That's the line. That's the punch. The second you succeed, the room gets cold. Not ice cold, just cool enough to say, we liked you better when you were struggling. Here's the stat nobody puts on billboards. Over 408,000 Filipinos now call Australia home. In healthcare alone, Filipinos make up 14% of all overseas-born nurses. That's not a workforce, that's a backbone. And still, the respect? Selective. You ever notice how people praise diversity like it's a spice? Just a pinch. Too much? Suddenly it's overpowering. Filipinos working hard? Love it. Filipinos thriving? Now it's a problem. And you know it's real when compliments start sounding like digs. You guys are so hardworking, you make the rest of us look bad. Translation: stop outperforming, you're ruining the curve. Let's cut the fluff. Australia is a great place. Safety, opportunity, quality of life, it's all there. But it's also a place where being Filipino comes with an invisible ceiling. And the minute you try to punch through it, you'll feel the resistance. Not fists, just friction. Not racism you can report, just enough awkward jokes and cold shoulders to make you second-guess your place. And here's the question that'll eat at you. Why does your success make them uncomfortable? Let's talk. Drop your story in the comments if you felt it, that sudden shift from welcome guest to overstaying achiever. And hit like if you believe Filipinos don't owe anyone an apology for being excellent. Because next, we're headed to a country where the issue isn't just subtle, it's strategic. Where Filipino rise doesn't just raise eyebrows, it raises alarms. China. Yep. We're going there. Number 8. China, the geopolitical frenemy. You ever notice how someone can call you partner while standing on your neck? That's China. Smiles in the boardroom, surveillance drones in your backyard. Says win-win with one hand, while the other's already sketching property lines across your sea. Now here's something they don't say at diplomatic dinners. More Filipino fishermen have been blocked by Chinese patrols in the West Philippine Sea than there are Starbucks in Makati. Think about that. Take Captain Delos Reyes, once Navy, now fisherman. His family's been fishing off Scarborough Shoal longer than some countries have existed. But one morning in 2019, China played landlord. Ship pulls up, loudspeaker barking like a mall guard on a power trip. Leave now. A drone hovers. Water cannons loaded. The guy served his country, and now he's treated like a trespasser in his own living room. See, here's the twisted part. While China's blocking our boats, they're building our bridges. They fund our trains, sponsor our loans, flash those shiny development deals like candy. It's like dating someone who buys you dinner, then changes your Netflix password when you disagree. Cute on the surface, controlling underneath. And it's not just theory. The World Bank says the Philippines might break into the top 20 global economies by 2040. Why? Young population, digital boom, BPO dominance. That upward swing? It terrifies the dragon. Because a rising Philippines means China can't run the neighborhood unchallenged. Let's simplify. China doesn't want to own us. They just don't want us owning too much. They want a neighbor, not a competitor. Someone who borrows money, not someone building power. A helper, not a headline. But it's already bleeding into daily life. Fishermen pushed out. Filipino businesses eaten alive by Chinese-backed conglomerates. Imports flooding Divisoria faster than you can say, Pakiawan. And don't even start with the UFWs working under Chinese companies abroad. Ask them about silent hierarchies, unspoken ceilings, and that feeling, you know the one, where you're welcome but not really. So I'll ask you, have you felt it? That polite pressure? That fake smile from a partner who doesn't want you stronger than them? Tell us in the comments, because these aren't just headlines. They're your stories. And if you're proud that Filipinos are still showing up, still standing tall, still not backing down, smash that like button. Because next, we're heading to a country that knows our jokes, our food, even our music. But behind the cultural karaoke, Malaysia's hiding a power play of its own. Don't blink. Number 9. Malaysia, brother, or backstabber. You ever notice how some friendships feel like a hug and a headlock at the same time? Yeah, that's us and Malaysia. We eat the same food. We laugh at the same memes. We even call each other Kapatid on TikTok. But scroll past the shared karaoke songs and you'll feel it, that weird tension. That side-eye you get the moment a Filipino starts doing too well. Let's rip the band-aid. Filipinos aren't just surviving in Malaysia, we're thriving. And that makes people nervous. Take Jenny, 31, sharp as a blade, fluent in 3 languages, and running a Malaysian household better than most CEOs run a company. At first, she was amazing. Then she was too ambitious. Sound familiar? Admiration turns into anxiety real quick when you're not supposed to outperform the system designed to keep you grateful. Here's the slap you awake stat. Both countries are chasing the same foreign investments, same BPO clients, and same digital pie. But one's quietly greasing the ladder, while the other's just trying to climb it. Malaysia wants to be the tech capital of Southeast Asia. The Philippines? Already dubbed the BPO king, and climbing fast in AI support, animation, and remote digital services. So guess what happens when a Pinoy walks into a room in KL with better English, more experience, and a smile that could land a UN negotiation gig? Exactly. And don't even get us started on Sabah. That colonial leftover no one wants to talk about, unless it's to twist the knife during talks of sovereignty. It's like living next door to your cousin who still owes you money, but keeps flexing a new car every month. OFWs feel it. Stricter permits, underpaid nurses, delayed business approvals. Not because they're lazy, but because they shine too bright in a room designed for dim lights. Here's the kicker, Filipinos don't even want to take over. We just want to live better. But some systems treat Filipino excellence like a glitch in the matrix, something to patch, not praise. So real talk, ever worked in Malaysia? Felt that passive-aggressive energy shift once you outgrew the box they put you in? Drop your story in the comments. You're not imagining it. And if you believe we deserve more than quiet tolerance, if you believe Filipino brilliance isn't a threat, it's a gift, smash that like button. Because next, we're landing where hospitality comes with conditions, and respect is earned, not offered. Saudi Arabia is next. And it's not just about oil, it's about who really holds the power. Number 10. Saudi Arabia, the kingdom and its quiet fear. From obedient to overqualified, and why that terrifies them. Let's just say the quiet part out loud. Saudi Arabia loves Filipinos, as long as we stay in our lane. Polite, productive, disposable. You know, modern-day MVPs who don't ask for a raise, a voice, or human rights. But what happens when the help gets too helpful? When the nanny starts a business? When the nurse speaks fluent Arabic and knows her labor rights better than her employer. Spoiler alert, it doesn't end in a round of applause. It ends in red tape, side eyes, and sometimes, deportation. Let's crack this wide open. Over 1.2 million Filipinos are grinding in Saudi Arabia right now. That's not a small crowd, that's a workforce the size of a city. But here's the twist, we're not just scrubbing tiles and babysitting brats anymore. We're launching startups, teaching in universities, designing apps. Basically, we're the plot twist the kingdom didn't see coming. And not everyone's thrilled about it. Let me hit you with Tessa's story. Pangasinan-born, landed in Riyadh to work as a maid. Learned Arabic. Listened more than she spoke. Saved up. And then, boom. 8 years later, she's running a damn cafe in Jeddah, delivering meals to Saudi offices, racking up 5-star reviews like it's a game. From mop to mogul. But instead of celebrating her, people got nervous. Why? Because she broke the unspoken rule, know your place. And don't leave it. You ever notice how the kingdom smiles when we serve, but frowns when we lead? That's not a glitch. That's the design. Saudi society is like a Jenga tower made of gold bricks. Look strong but pull the wrong piece, say, a successful Filipino who owns land, speaks up, or questions abuse, and the whole thing starts to wobble. And that's the real fear. Not us working. Us thriving. Because when someone who's supposed to be invisible suddenly shines brighter than the locals, that's not just inconvenient. That's threatening. They don't say it out loud, but they show it in the details. Legal blocks when OFWs try to open a business. Mysterious contract delays. Deportations for attitude issues, aka having self-respect. So let me ask you, have you ever grown too big for the box they put you in? Did it cost you? Did they try to shrink you back down? Drop your story in the comments. And if you believe Filipinos deserve to rise, anywhere, even in a kingdom built on control, hit that like button hard.